In Malaysia, Islamic finance is a major industry, and it shares some characteristics with socially responsible investing. Why is that so from your point of view?
I would say Islamic is like what we consider the initial part of SRI, whereby it's more of a negative filter away. Anything that don't have a negative filter, you are automatically considered as you are investable. But when you talk about ESG, then we try to go towards impact investing. That means you want to look for company with even more positive ESG that can have an impact to whatever of the goals that we are talking about.
Now, there are some similarities in the underlying social principles between Islamic finance and socially responsible investing. For example, ESG and Islamic funds exclude companies involved in tobacco and weapons for mass destruction, which are considered harmful for the society. There are, however, differences also between Islamic and ESG funds. Environmental factors may not necessarily be a consideration for Islamic funds, which do not have an environmental sustainability mandate. At the same time, conventional ESG funds may not comply with the Sharia principles such as prohibiting interest and speculation.
I think people in this region, or at least in Malaysia, we are actually well versed in the investment thesis involving Sharia. But for the global investment population at hand, this is still a new venture. They are unaware that there is actually a very high degree of overlap on Sharia investments vis-a-vis ESG SRI. For example, I'll just quote, the principal tenet for Sharia is investments, but to promote the welfare of humankind, equitable investments. That therefore you have concepts like equity sharing, profit and loss sharing. So it moves beyond the financial spectrum, but rather trying to distribute wealth on an equitable manner, to share risk on an equitable manner, which is some of the tenets which has overlaps with ESG and SRI, sustainable investing. The part with regards to Sharia investments is also focused on the overall well-being of the individual seeking to maximize profits, but also vis-a-vis the society at large. So in a sense, you can actually summarize that Sharia investments is actually sustainable investing to a certain extent.
Both the Islamic as well as ESG investment include value-based consideration in investments. The similarities are most visible through their exclusionary screening on similar industries, such as excluding products or services involving alcohol, tobacco, or gambling. Notwithstanding, while many Islamic principles overlap with SRI concepts, some SRI offerings may not meet Islamic criteria, as they may be associated with other Islamic prohibitions. I think this is something that we also need to bear in mind.
Islamic principles do have some overlap with ESG SRI principles, with Islamic principle focusing more on screening out non-investable businesses, while ESG principle focus more on businesses that will have a positive impact. Notwithstanding the similarities in both principles, there are some ESG offerings that may not satisfy Islamic principles.